should we wait for the sun to come back? Oh. Baby, come back. You can give it all to me.
Let's blame it all on me.
Oh, sorry. You can blame it all. Bathroom break. What's up, world? And how's it going, my CAE people? Today we are going to talk about the crazy CAE open-close task. We'll talk about what to expect, one common grammatical concept covered in this section, and we'll do an example. I hope you're ready, because we're about to get grammatical. Alright, so first, let's talk about what to expect for the open-close. Number one, this is on the use of English section of the CAE. Number two, you have a fill-in-the-blank text or passage or whatever you want to call it. Number three, you need one word for each blank. But contractions count as two words, so just a reminder, you'll never need a contraction. And number four, there are only 8 questions for this section. There used to be more, but somebody was like, alright, let's chill out on the open-close. Okay, so now, what about the purpose of this task? Well, it's grammar. Tiny bit of vocab, but mostly grammar. Most of the words you need are small words, like prepositions, or helping verbs, or even relative pronouns. So, I'm going to put up a slide with the biggest or the most common concepts they test on this section. So take a second and look at that. You need to focus on these concepts to prepare for the test. Obviously, we can't go over all of them, but today we'll talk about one big one. Okay, so today we are going to talk about auxiliary verbs. So, I will explain what these verbs are first, and then we'll look at an example. What is an auxiliary verb? Well, it is a helping verb that is paired with the main verb. For example, he was arrested. Was is the helping verb paired with arrested. So that's easy enough, right? But for the CAE, you need to be familiar with all the helping verbs. And the most common helping verbs are what? Be, do, and have. Because they are smaller verbs, Cambridge likes to test to see if you know your perfect tenses, passives, conditionals, ellipsis, and emphasis. It's like a foreign language. So you can see how all these concepts use auxiliary verbs. So let's see how this can be tricky and do an example for the open-close. Look at the slide and try to answer the question. And if you need more time, pause the video. Example 1. Researchers in Munich have created a system for listening to sounds from insects usually inaudible to humans. This system, blank, developed in Amsterdam, but the German equipment is more sensitive. How can we go about answering this question? Well, tip 1. Give yourself some options. Try to think about all the possible answers it could be, because for these types of questions, what comes first or easiest isn't always right. Is the answer, this system had developed? Past perfect tense. Is the answer, this system was developed? Passive. Is the answer, this system is developed? Passive again, but present passive. And the answer is, this system was developed. So, past passive voice. To find this answer, we look at 2 things. And this is tip 2. We look at the content of the sentence and we look at the grammar around the blank. We are looking at when this system developed. So, that happened in the past. So, would it make sense? Had would make it the past perfect tense, a past tense. However, we use this tense to order things chronologically in the past. So, this tense would be used if we had another past action in the same sentence, probably in the past tense. For example, the system had developed early on, and scientists tried the method in 1990. Then we look at the words around the blank, specifically the word developed. This is a past tense verb, but what else is it? Think, think, think. Ah, yes, it's a past participle. Or you could think of it as the third form of a verb, and these include words like been, done, gone, and seen. And don't forget, many of these past participles have the same form as their verb's past tense form, like this one, developed. So here's another tip. Anytime you see a past participle after the blank, think auxiliary verbs. Do I need a perfect tense? Do I need a passive? Do I need emphasis? And a quick emphasis example would be what scientists did find out was blah 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 blah. And finally, don't forget auxiliary verbs are also included in conditional sentences, specifically the third conditional. So here's an example of that. If their experiments more precise, then they wouldn't have made mistakes. Here, you also need the auxiliary verb had. Luckily, conditional sentences are a little easier to see because of the if in them. Alright, so that was intense. But if any of these grammatical concepts are a little difficult for you, or you need some review, then head on over to the British Council website to review. And I'll also link it below so you can check it there. Alright, so let's review what we've discussed. Number 1, for the open close on the CAE, be prepared to do 8 of these questions. Number 2, now we have a list of the most common grammatical concepts they test, so study them. Number 3, auxiliary verbs are super important as a source of answers for these questions. Think about perfect tenses, passives, and emphasis. And finally, number 4, give yourself some options before you pick the easiest answer that comes first to your mind, because it's not always right. And pay attention to the content around the blank just as much as the grammar around the blank. And there we have it. So let's close out this video. Get it? If this video helped you, leave some comments below about what you'd like to see next. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, stay beautiful and bright like the noonday sun.